Empowering women in business is the focus of an event Thursday afternoon in downtown Rockford.
WIFR reporter Alyssa Kelly talks with speakers and attendees about the key message for hundreds of women at the PowHer conference.
Every woman is on a different journey. I just want to make sure that it's empowering for them.
That's the message the Greater Rockford Chamber of Commerce President Caitlin Pusateri spreads at the PowHer conference at Embassy Suites.
I've learned so much about myself and how I approach obstacles, opportunities.
Pusateri is the first female president of the chamber. She hopes the conference will empower other women to be leaders in business too.
I want them to be strategic in what they want to do. Everyone will want to accomplish different things, but I want them to know what they want to accomplish and then feel empowered to go and do it.
According to Pusateri, studies show when women are in leadership position, organizations do better.
If we're trying to make a thriving business community, what can we do to support organizations? And if having women or diversity on your leadership team, in your CEO suite, makes your company better, let's give them the skills and the training that they may need.
Leslie Cooper is a local business owner and spoke at the PowHer conference. She says it's important to make connections in the community and lift each other up.
It can be anything as simple as we as women need to speak up and let people know what we've done and what we've accomplished, but also how to lead with kindness and how to just get stuff done.
In Rockford, Alyssa Kelly, WIFR News.
New this year, the Chamber hosted a pre-conference networking and fundraising night where participants could bid on silent auction items and have the opportunity to update their professional headshots.